Well, and you are my neighbor. Neighbor, sit down here with me at Granny Marble's kitchen table. Hop Sing's going to serve us chicken fried steak and jalapeno gravy, some of Nanny's yeast rolls, and a cold cucumber salad, glass of iced tea, or a cup of coffee. I'm going to tease us a little bit with a short look at ag weather. Another sunny and fairly warm day across the region. As we look at temperatures right now, we're looking for 75 in Del Rio for the high, 69 in Rock Springs, 77 in Uvalde, 76 is what San Antonio is looking for. Austin 75, Burnett 67, that LaGrange, Giddings area 73, Cuero 76, Pleasanton 78. Tomorrow it will be about the same. Right now those temperatures are probably 18 or 19 degrees away from where our high should be by day's end. Because the last time I looked at San Antonio's present temperature, it was just in the lower to mid-50s. Neighbor, as we begin to examine our grains and oil seeds, we see that March corn was up 10 3/4 per bushel early. March beans were up 33.5 per bushel early, and March Kansas City wheat was up 5.5. As we look toward bull and bear indicators within that segment of the marketplace, on the bull side, we see that corn, soybeans, and soy meal all closed at new contract and multi-year highs on the Chinese commodity exchange last week, implying import demand should remain strong. The one thing I'd remind you of, they closed at not all-time highs, but very close to the all-time highs on the U.S. markets this last week. And that low U.S. dollar is promoting a lot of that. And then the fact that the Chinese manipulate their currency helped it also. On the bear side, after a dry stretch most of December, both the European and the GFS models are calling for an updated upturn in moisture for Argentina. From January the 10th through the 16th, as you know, they have had some weather that was not congruent to grains, and that has pushed world prices in part the direction as we're going. As we look for more commodity-specific comments, a new year, the same buying in corn being seen, with futures rallying through that Sunday night open and then extending into double-digit gains today. Soybeans, again, sharply higher across the complex. While soybeans don't have the consecutive higher close crown like corn, it's remarkable what has been accomplished in the last several weeks. That crown is that up, down, up, down, up, down, up shape that you would see in the old type English crown. The commodity markets use a lot of things like that, a flag, to depict what they think the market would do based on what it has done in the past, and they give it a picture. And then when they see that picture form, they have an idea of where the market might go. In wheat, higher wheat prices across the three exchanges overnight. Also, some contracts were reluctant to follow early Sunday evening. That reluctance was quickly shaken off with nearby double-digit gains seen on most of the contracts. We'll take a look toward cotton here in just a minute, neighbor. McCoys.com. McCoys wants to be your source for farm and ranch equipment and supplies specifically suited to your operation. Are you designing a horse farm or a new cattle handling facility? How about your 4-H or FFA project pens? McCoy's Farm and Ranch Specialist, Cliff Mullinex, can help. Contact your local McCoy's store at McCoys.com and find out how to get Cliff out to the farm today. That's www.mccoys.com. Neighbor, with Preferred cattle chutes, hay rings, corral panels, and more, McCoy's is ready to become your farm and ranch outfitter. Visit the McCoy stores in this region. I know they've got them in San Angelo. I know they've got them in Abilene. Stores near you. Find the products you need at McCoys.com. Neighbor, as we evaluate cotton, we probably need to evaluate 2020. Cotton ended 2020 with a very positive finish. Spot March ended the year up 7+ cents, which is quite a feat considering last spring the market was down some 24 cents. At that supremely bearish moment, short covering evolved into net long buying by speculators. Their buying action, along with several hurricane adversities, allowed the market to return to net neutrality by Thanksgiving of this year. Since that time, the market has extended its bullish run, fueled by a weak U.S. dollar, strong foreign demand, which we still have today. Some traders expect to see a continuance of those influences in 2021. Let's see how cotton has evolved this morning. March cotton's up $1.40 at $79.52, knocking on that $80 door. We're on the line with Sam from D&D. Sam, I've never seen as much Stay Tough fence in my whole life.
That's right, Larry. Right now we have the largest supply of American T-post and the largest supply of Stay Tough fencing in Texas.
Tell us how to take advantage of all that product.
All you got to do, Larry, is call me at 830-379-7340, and that's for one of our friendly staff members.
Neighbor, now let's take a look at live cattle, feeder cattle, and lean hogs. Light to moderate support late last week in the live cattle and the futures trade appears to be in question early today as the traders are faced with significantly higher grain trade during the overnight session and continued lack of support in beef values last week, causing concerns that the traders will back away from their holiday week highs. Although February live cattle futures ended 2020 above that 115 per hundredweight level, which was a major accomplishment given the volatility and uncertainty during the year, the inability to break through the resistance levels could create additional underlying pressure through the entire complex. As we look toward late week pressure in boxed beef values, it wasn't a significant shock given the reduced holiday trade and recent market volatility. Renewed focus will be placed, as we said, on the direction of that value. As we look at the cash cattle trade, last week we saw 1 to 2 per hundredweight gains in the live cattle at 111, 112. The dressed was 3 to 4 higher at 175 to 176. Aggressive end-of-the-year gains in lean hog futures will make it a hard act to follow across the lean hog complex today. February futures closed above the $70 per hundredweight mark for the first time in 2 months based on continued support of domestic and export markets. Neighbor, I forgot. I need to get some cattle bought today. So I'm going to send our cowboy crew over to Mason to help old Ken Jordan. Maybe I can barter a little bit with him. I send him help. He sends me cattle. I bet I can get it done. Ken, how's that Mason sale looking?
You bet, Larry. We got right at 430-something head on the yards right now, about 20-something cows. We're kind of expecting at 600 head. We had that good snow that hit our area and also real good rains, too. So it kind of got everything wet up in that country. Pretty wet, too, but that snow really helped a whole lot. So kind of reduced the runs a little bit. We'll get kicked off, though, about 600. Then we're going to roll right into Thursday with a big stocker and feeder sale along with our regular sale. Got a lot of cattle already consigned for that, or we know coming. You don't have to consign, but we do try to get folks that have some that have been weaned or whatever it may be, holler at us, and we'll write up information out to the buyers the night before. So looks like for a pretty good run on Monday, real good run on Thursday, and then getting ready for several specials, Larry.
Good deal. Well, tell everybody how to contact you.
You bet, Larry. They can give us a call, area code 325-372-5159. Also, for the other information on our special sales, go to our website, jordancattle.com. And I think everybody in this industry is really ready for a new 2021, Larry.
Me too. All right, Ken, we'll see how successful the sale was when we talk with you on Monday night after Mason.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
McCoys.com, McCoys Building Supply, still family-owned, strong, growing, and relevant for our ag community. Farm and ranch panels and gates, field fencing, welded wire panels, barbed wire, and electric fencing. Shop online and find products and the store near you at McCoys.com. Neighbor Hop Singh's ready to serve. He's just about ready to pour that jalapeno gravy all over that chicken fried steak. Some mashed potatoes today with bits of onion and bacon and some cheese in them. He's got standard fare, iced tea, coffee. He's even got a bunch of Nanny's yeast rolls and a cold cucumber salad, but he doesn't have Russell Heller at the table with him today because Russell is busy. Russell, Happy New Year to you.
Same to you, Larry. Happy New Year to you.
Did y'all catch any moisture since the time I spoke with you last?
Yes, we did. We had a good rain, a couple of rains, and it totaled about 4 inches.
That's great. Man, that's great. I guess the ryegrass and winter weeds and stuff like that should have responded a little bit.
Yes, it is. You can already tell it's already starting to green up and pop up a little bit, and hopefully 70-degree days these next few days will get it going.
Good. Now, what do we know that's coming this weekend to Lexington Livestock for the Saturday sale?
Yes, sir. I know of 2 sets of calves. One's going to be about 15 and the other one 20 or 25.
Well, good deal. We'll tell everybody how to get a hold of you and what time the sale starts.
Yes, sir. Sale starts at 12 noon on Saturday, and you can call me on my cell. That number is 979-820-7002.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry.
Neighbor, I want to remind you about my friends, Stephen and Terry Lehman at Lehman Pipe and Cattle. They've got used sucker rod in 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and 1 inch, and they've got used oil fill pipe, the #1 structural, straight, no holes, splits, or heavy scale, 2 3/8, 2 7/8, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6 5/8, 7 5/8, 10 3/4, and 16 and 24-inch diameters. Also, from time to time, they see some #2 pipe available at a reduced price. Truckload discounts and delivery also available. They also have cattle guards. They make them from 10-foot wide to 30-foot wide, depending on the customer's needs and wants, with or without wings or cross gates. Also, the heavy-duty concrete beams to set them on. Stephen and Terry Lehman, Lehman Pipe and Cattle. Email them at lehmanpipe@gmail.com or call Stephen at 979-966-3447 or Terry at 979-820-8155. That's Stephen and Terry Lehman, Lehman Pipe and Cattle. Neighbor, I need to check this cow group up here near the headquarters. I've got my head cowboy Eddie Arnold calling them right now. While they come up the hill and down the alleyway into the pens, let's talk to Kenny Mingus, Milam County Livestock Auction, Cameron, Texas. Kenny, I'd yodel Happy New Year to you, but I can't yodel, so Happy New Year.
Same to you, Larry. Same to you. I hope you had a good one and evidently a safe one because me and you were talking this morning.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
What is the first sale after the old year into the new year going to be like?
Well, you know, Larry, if you go back to the old rules of what the markets do, in my opinion, it'll be higher. You know, usually when we come back from Thanksgiving, it's a little higher. You know, we take the Christmas break, it usually gets a little higher. So there's been some rain around. I don't know if y'all got any, but we had a good rain up through our country.
That's what I hear.
You know, 4.5 to 5 or 6 inches in spots, you know, to 1.5 to 3, you know, but it was a good rain, got these oat fields to drink. I think they got some rain in the wheat country, you know, all
Good.
up through there. So I think it was pretty general from what I could tell. A few people I've talked to over the holidays, not many, but yeah, I think it'll be a little more active, especially on some cattle, Larry, that go to grass of some kind, you know, whether it's some cattle being bought to go to ryegrass in the spring or even some cattle still probably being bought to finish some of these wheat pastures out, you know.
Right.
So I think it'll be a little higher. I think it, depending on the numbers, will depend on how fast it takes off, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know we were a little lighter than some of the guys had envisioned their first sale after the holiday being, 2 down here in particular. Do you have any idea?
Well, I don't. Right when you called me, talking to a guy that's going to send 30 cows in there, and another boy called this morning with 15 or 20 calves. So, you know, some people come out of the gates and sell them this first week back, you know, and
Right.
some people will kind of sit back and see what the market's doing and then go to thinking about what they want to do.
Right.
You know, probably if we wouldn't have gotten the rain through our country, I think we'd be awful big, you know, come back right after this. But the rain's going to slow some of it down, and I think it'll definitely slow the Packer bulls and the Packer cows some, you know, which they could add a little money to those. If our numbers are short, you know, I talked to a boy a while ago, said where he was going, the number's just going to have 500 or 600, you know. So, but getting started and the weather and everything, I think it'll take a little while to shake out, and then we'll get back to normal.
All right. Well, tell everybody how to get a hold of you for this first sale coming this Friday.
Before we do that, Larry, I've got one change. We're going to start our sale at 11 a.m.,
Right.
Which we had been starting at 12. So over the holidays, I visited with the guys, and we're going to start at 11 with the Packer cows and the Packer bulls. and then we're going to go right into the regular sale with our rannies and pairs and bred cows as we have always done.
All right.
For everybody that's wanting to buy a ranny, we will not sell a ranny before 12 o'clock, and we'll proceed on after that. But you can call us at the office Monday through Wednesday at 254-697-6697. Follow us on our webpage at milamcountylivestockauction.com or catch us on Facebook. We hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we hope 2021 brings nothing but prosperity to everyone in the industry.
All right. We'll pray that with you. Kenny, thank you a bunch, and we'll speak with you later in the week.
You bet. Thank you.
Neighbor, I read an interesting article today, and I'd like to share it with you. It comes from agweb.com. As the calendar flips to 2021, a new administration may lead to a shift in policy priorities. The Biden transition team made it official last week that Tom Vilsack is Joe Biden's pick for U.S. Ag Secretary. You folks remember Vilsack? Washington insiders say even with Vilsack at the helm, the expectations are clear. USDA will now focus on climate change. Tom Vilsack will be an integral part to President-elect Biden on climate change, which will be an important feature in the administration, says Michael Dykes, the CEO of International Dairy Foods Association. He knows what it takes to implement those things all the way down to the farm level and how to do these kinds of things in a way that has something in it for farmers so that the farmers are able to begin to implement at the very production level of the farm all the way through. While it's not clear what programs will entail, the Washington Post recently reported there may be a financial incentive to farmers to participate. The report outlined everything from incentivizing farmers to remove carbon dioxide from the air and storing it in the ground to establish a carbon bank to paying farmers to lock carbon in the soil by using practices like no-till. However, the general consensus is all of the programs will be voluntary. Folks, do you remember the legislative battle over carbon sequestration back during the Vilsack administration as Ag Secretary? Major ag companies have already laid the groundwork. BASF says sustainability and climate-first farming practices have been a focus for them for years, while Bayer is also focused on its R&D pipeline. The company recently ventured down the path with Bayer Carbon. By utilizing no-till or reduced tillage systems or seeding cover crops, Bayer is now rewarding farmers for what they call climate-smart farming practices. Neighbor, let's take a look at our commodities of ag interest. We'll utilize barchart.com to give you those figures. March corn, 482 1/4, down 1 3/4. March beans, 1320 1/4, up 9 1/4. Bean meal, the March contract, up 30 cents by the ton at 429.70 by the ton. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 4 1/4 by the bushel at 5.99 1/4. March number 2 cotton up 81 at 78.93. February live cattle down 235 at 112.67. March feeder cattle down 310 at 137.12. February lean hogs up 137 at 71.65. March U.S. dollar index down 169 points at 89.72. Your February West Texas intermediate crude contracts down 109 at 47.43. Neighbor, let's take a look at the grains, courtesy of John Tuggle. Call 800-288-4453. Number 2 or better Milo through Corpus in December. March plus 250, 13.11. We'll call Progresso 850. Number 2 or better yellow corn through Corpus in December. March plus 45, 529. We'll call Progresso 990. Number 1 hard red winter wheat delivered to Corpus Christi. December, January delivery. March plus 70, 673.5. Houston, March plus 95, 698.5. Houston beans, December delivery, March plus 10, 1321. Placido, March less 60, 1251. 2102 Bell, East Texas cotton, 10,000 of West Texas, 12,102 was the total. Average price across those sold, $74.74. Neighbor, that's it for Down on the Farm. I'm Larry Marble. We appreciate you listening. Go out and make it a grand Monday, the 4th day of January 2021.